Everybody knows that life is temporary. But they think death is permanent. Nicht emes. Death is temporary. Because once God creates somebody, He'll never give up on him. So what does it mean? He creates you for 100 years and then not interested? No. Death is temporary. The soul is waiting in heaven to come back into its body. So in some way, every soul who has been dead already 1,000 years never gives up on its body. It wants to come back. Its body. And that's what's called Tchias HaMesim, the resurrection of the dead. God promises the soul goes to heaven and is rewarded for all the good that it did. And what about the body? When will the body be rewarded? Because you can't do good without a body. So it's not fair, it's not right that the soul should be rewarded and the body not. So the Gemara tells an interesting story. There were two guys in ancient Israel. One of them was blind, and the other one was lame. But they were hungry, and they wanted to pick some fruits from an orchard that was enclosed by a wall. They wanted to steal fruit. The blind guy, Nebuch, he can't see. The lame guy can't reach. So what did they do? The blind guy put the lame guy on his shoulders, and he was able to reach the fruit, and that's how they stole the fruit. They were caught and brought to the king. And the king is thinking, who should I punish? The blind guy or the lame guy? And he realized both of them are incapable of stealing by themselves. The blind guy couldn't do it without the lame guy, and the lame guy couldn't do it without the blind guy. So they both have to be punished. But he decided that the best way to do it is to punish them the way they committed the crime. So he put the blind guy on the bottom, he put the lame guy on his shoulders, and punished them together. So the Gemara says, this is also true of the soul and the body. When you do a mitzvah, without the soul, the body can't do anything. Without the body, the soul can't do a mitzvah. The soul can't light a Shabbos candle. The soul cannot make a bracha. The soul can't put a coin into a pushka. So it's got to be the body with the soul. So God says, how do I reward them? I'm going to have to put them back together again. The way they did the mitzvah, that's how I'm going to reward them. So every soul is going to come back to its body. And the body will come back alive. So some philosopher asked one of the rabbis of the Gemara, you really think a dead body can come alive? That doesn't make sense. So the rabbi said, a body that was never born can be born? So a body that was born already once, what's the chachma to do it again? So the big miracle is when a body is born for the first time. To come back is not such a big miracle already. So yes, the body comes back. Interestingly, it comes back in exactly the shape and condition as it was when it died. Why? Because it's a reverse process. It's like running a film backwards. Also, you got to come back the way people remember you, or they won't recognize you. So you come back looking the way you looked when you passed away. And then you continue to heal until your body is 20 years old. And you stay that way forever. How do we know 20 years old? Adam and Chava, when they were created, the first day of their life, they weren't a fetus. They weren't babies. What did they look like? A 20-year-old. That's the shape, the form, the health of a body that is in perfect condition. So when the body is resurrected after the coming of Mashiach, it will look like a 20-year-old. But it'll move backwards from the old age till it becomes a 20-year-old, and that's how it will stay. This is why we're not afraid. This is why we have such respect for the souls in heaven. We know they're listening and that it matters to them. Every time you do a mitzvah, they walk around saying, "That's my granddaughter. You see that? That's my kid." They take credit for everything good we do. That's also why we have all the mitzvahs relating to the body when it passes away, the respect for the body, because we know it's coming back. So we're very careful. We treat it with great respect. We don't leave it alone before the burial. It's never alone for a minute. We wash it, we clean it, getting ready for the coming back. And that's why we don't do cremations, especially now, 75 years since the Holocaust, when the bodies were so mistreated. So we're very respectful of the body because we never give up on the body. Even the body that has been dead for 1,000 years, its soul is waiting to come back to its body. That's also why it's so unforgivable when people desecrate a cemetery. You would think, what's the big deal? The body is not feeling anything. The body is not insulted. Why are we so careful with? Because death is temporary. You're talking about a body that's going to come back. And when it comes back, it's going to be perfect. So we treat it with respect. It's a mitzvah to honor your body. Because without the body, you can't do a mitzvah. So that is the brief version, summary of how life comes and how life goes. It's not that strange. It's not that scary, but it is very exciting. Both are exciting. Coming and going, and then coming back. Life never ends. It can't. How can life die? Like, how can salt go bad? It can't. And we need to know this. We need to know this. And we need to teach our children and our grandchildren. They need to know this too.